Hi everybody, it's Liza. It's Tuesday, February the 11th, and this is Talk to Me Tuesday number, I don't know, 18, something like that. I probably am not as enthusiastic as I could be today. I'm not feeling my best. I've been having a lot of problems with my allergies and my sinuses and everything, and just in general haven't been feeling well. So you'll have to forgive the lack of enthusiasm today. I am really happy to make a video, it just doesn't show. Anyways, I have quite a bit to show. Last week I wasn't able to make a video, but the week before last, that time for that video, I would have had a lot of paintings to show. I've been painting a lot lately. My cat agrees with me. I don't know if you heard that or not. I don't quite know why painting has been the thing recently, but it has been. So I'm going to insert the pictures of the paintings here. Some have already sold. I posted them on Etsy and they've already sold and been sent to their new owners. So I don't have them to actually show you guys. So here are the paintings I've done. My aunt purchased the roses painting, which I find really funny because my grandmother her name is Rosemma. So roses are a big thing in my family because of that. So my aunt purchased that and she texted me a picture the other day because she received the painting in the mail. And it was just a picture of it hanging on her office wall, and it's the only thing hanging on her office wall. So that was kind of fun to see. So I've done those paintings recently, but this past week I've tried to get back into sewing and such. Because I haven't been feeling my best though, it's been kind of hard to get back into it. I'm still working on the paper piecing for As You Wish of Buttercup. I still haven't finished Buttercup yet. My goal is to finish that here hopefully in the next week or two, but we'll see what happens, how I'm feeling. She has a lot of very tiny pieces, and I'm actually cheating a little bit. I am not doing as many of the small pieces for her hair. I am doing one solid color for the hair. I only had one yellow, and I want to use as much in my stash as I can. I don't use a lot of yellow in my quilting, so I didn't have a lot of yellow in my stash. I only had one yellow. So her hair is going to be all one solid yellow, which unfortunately is... My cat is freaking out, sorry. It's unfortunately not going to make it as dimensional as some other people's, but it does make piecing it a little bit easier because I don't have to worry about adding in the different yellows. I haven't started on my Wesley yet, but I have started the embroidery. It's kind of funny, before I started this project I didn't think I knew how to embroider. But as I've gotten into it and watched some videos about embroidery and talked to some people about embroidery, I've discovered I really did know how to embroider. That's just never what I've called it. I've done projects before. I made my sister like a tree skirt a few years ago when I was very first learning how to sew. And the tree skirt was actually had embroidery on it. So I had learned those stitches and all of that. Then I had learned some stitches in high school when I was learning how to hand sew. In high school I had learned some embroidery stitches. So these are things that I knew, I just didn't know them as embroidery. So now it's a matter of going back and relearning those skills and everything and figuring that out all over again. I haven't tackled the Buttercup embroidery yet because I do want to do the advanced one of Buttercup, but I feel like I should brush up on the skills and the stitches and all of that before I begin to tackle it. So I went ahead and I started the Wesley embroidery, and I finished it the other day. I love the way that it turned out. I'm trying to use similar colors for everything, so these are some of the colors that are suggested to use for the Buttercup embroidery. I thought it would be nice to tie them into this embroidery as well. I tried a technique that I actually saw on Pinterest for how to transfer the pattern. I don't remember who exactly pinned it. I know I follow a few people from Talk to Me Tuesday on Pinterest, and I think it was probably one of you that posted it, and I liked the idea of using Glad press and seal to transfer it. So basically what it is you transfer the pattern onto the press and seal, which is kind of like saran wrap, only it sticks to everything. So you transfer it onto that, and then you put it on top of your fabric, and then you just embroider right over top of the press and seal, and then when you're done, you just pull the press and seal off, and it'll come off. It made total sense to do that, so I went ahead and I tried that. My only complaint is for things like in the middle of the letters and everything. It is harder than blazes to get that Glad press and seal out of that space. So I actually, in an effort to try to get all the pieces out when I could no longer like pick at them anymore to get them out, is I started to hand wash it, and as I washed it, the adhesive kind of wore off and all of that, and let it soak for a while, and it seemed to have worked. So just so you know, that's actually a really decent method on how to embroider and transfer the pattern and all of that. So I have that finished. That's the only part of As You Wish that I actually have finished so far. The other thing that I have completed is living in an apartment. It is not necessarily as airtight as I would want. I don't know how else to put that. My windows and doors leak like a sieve. And I hate my electric bill, particularly here in Colorado. We've had some sub-zero temperatures recently that have been pretty nasty. And with my financial status and all that, I can't afford to lose any heat to outside. So I actually decided to make a door snake, a draft guard, whatever you want to call it. I've heard people call it all kinds of different things. So here's that, real exciting. Real exciting. You can see right there, basically what I did is I took a fat quarter and I cut the fat quarter into two pieces that were 8 inches wide by the length of the fat quarter. And then I sewed those together and created a tube. And then I stuffed the tube with polyfill and rice. And I just kind of alternated the polyfill and the rice in it. And then in the dollar section of Target, I found these cheap fuzzy socks. It was a set of 2 fuzzy socks, and I went, those would look cute. So I sewed the fuzzy socks together and created a sleeve because I didn't like the fabric for the fat quarter that I used. It wasn't really a fabric that was my style. So I wanted to cover that up so that I had something nice to look at underneath my front door. And so now I have this that sits in front of my front door now. It helps a little bit, but when you have a large sliding glass door and a large window in your apartment that you don't quite know how to winterize, it can only help so much. But every little bit helps. So that's basically all I have done recently. I do have one other thing to share that's craft related, but it's not a craft project. For my birthday, my sister actually sent me an entire box of fabric, which was awesome. The thing is, the fabric is all different types of fabric. So I have some crushed velvet, I have lace, I have satin, I have cotton, I have tulle, I have all different types of fabric now. And I called her up and I said, did you find this at a yard sale or something? Thinking, she found this fabric. No, what she had done is when my grandmother passed away, she had taken my grandmother's sewing machine. And I had totally forgotten about all of this. But she had taken my grandmother's sewing machine and decided that she was going to learn how to sew. that didn't work very well for her. She still has the sewing machine, but she never learned how to sew. But when she was wanting to learn, she just went to the craft store and bought all kinds of offcuts of fabric from the remnant bin. Fabric that she liked the pattern of, or she liked the feel of, not thinking, what am I going to use this as a project for? And so these are all the fabrics that she had purchased when she thought she was going to learn how to sew. And she said, I figured you could use some of them. Which is true, I can use some of them, but some of them I have no idea what I'm going to do with. So, things that are like satins and tulle, I have no idea what I'm going to do with the tulle and the lace. Because I don't do any dressmaking. I don't do any of that. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with those. I may donate them somewhere. But if you guys have ideas, let me know. Because I don't quite know what I'm going to do with those, but I have a gigantic box of just offcuts of fabric that I don't know what I'm going to do with. I might make some into like pillows and a quilt or something, I don't know. But we'll see what happens with those, but it's one of those large priority mail boxes that she just filled, flat rate boxes, that she just filled. So those of you in the US know how large those are. That was just filled with fabric. So I have a lot of fabric to go through and figure out what to do with. My fabric stash is now overflowing. I have run out of storage space for it, so no idea what I'm going to do with all this fabric, but I need to start using some of it up. So need to get going on that As You Wish quilt and use up some more of my scraps. But I hope you guys have had a super crafty week. I'm going to stop talking now because it's actually getting kind of hard for me to breathe. So I'm going to stop talking now and go just kind of relax and maybe do some more embroidery, because I have an embroidery project that I want to do for a friend now that I remember how to do it. So I will see you guys next time I make a video. Have a crafty week. Bye.